What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of PLD-1138 on the PLD Projects YouTube channel. My little slice of the YouTube universe. It's your host. It's me. It's PLD, and let's talk some Star Wars. This should be more of a quick hit and run than usual. Don't have a lot of news to develop to talk about, so I'm just going to review the Clone Wars episode that dropped about 4 hours ago. Season 7, Episode 8, Together Again. And then we'll continue my walk through the Star Wars media. We're in 1978 now. Ooh. Let's get right into it, though, with the Clone Wars. Finale of the Ahsoka and the Sisters arc, as I call it. Raffi and Trace. We left them when they were still captured for dumping the spice way back in the second episode of the arc. Shows what happened and didn't happen since then. It's an interesting storyline. But I do have to say I have a little problem with it. It's the same problem I've had all season long. It's a little bit nitpicky, and I hate doing that because I'm very much a positive person. But the issue we have is it's something I had to accept, and I have to change my mindset on it. So we're prominent. The Clone Wars was saying we're getting season 7. It really isn't season 7, though. It's really the second half of season 6. Season 6 had a limited amount of episodes. Season 7 has a limited amount of episodes. So instead of one final push, we're just getting some of the filler from what it would have been season 6 going into the finale. Now, is this filler? Is it important? Sure, there's some important parts to it. I mean, the major important part is this whole arc basically is seeing Ahsoka having broken free of the Jedi at the end of season 5. And what did she do? And she's discovering some of the underworld people, some people who lived under people that you wouldn't be normally get involved with, lower class than the Jedi usually deal with for the most part. And she has to see the hypocrisy of the Jedi Order. She gets to wander around and decide where is her place in this universe, where does she fit it in this universe. But in truth, if we're going to do that, it seems like 4 episodes is not really enough, because at the end of the day, we all know where season 7 is going to end up. The whole finale of season 7 was to get us all to the Siege of Mandalore, where we know Ahsoka takes a strong role in. We saw in the trailer she's going to be fighting formerly Darth Maul. We've heard big pieces about it in Rebels when Ahsoka came back. We know that it ties right into Episode 3. Anakin and Obi-Wan are going to be involved a little bit in Siege of Mandalore, before they have to go save Emperor Palpatine from Grievous and Dooku. But at the end of the day, so she made this big deal about leading the Jedi Order. 4 episodes later, she's pretty much kind of going back. I mean, I know the argument is, and it is a strong argument to a degree, to a certain level, that she learns in the arc that she doesn't have to be a Jedi, a member of the Jedi Order, to be a Jedi. I mean, Raph at the end says it best, says it herself, that you're acting like what I think the Jedi should be, instead of what the Jedi are, possibly. So is Ahsoka really the best Jedi, so to speak? Perhaps that's what it's trying to say, and maybe she is to a degree. But at the same time, it seems like this is a journey that should have taken a little bit longer to get through. And we don't have the time to do it. We have to get right to the ending. So, with that being said, there's some problems there. I also had a problem a little bit in this episode. We had Ahsoka spring, so to speak, as she turns on the sisters in order to get the Pikes to let them go, in order to regain the spice that they had dumped during episode 2 of the arc. We're leaving Ahsoka here on the planet where she can more freely use her Jedi powers without being discovered, which frees her to be able to do a much better job at escaping than she has been so far. The sisters, though, they go and they can't, Raffi and Trace both, so they can't leave Ahsoka behind. Trace is because Ahsoka is her friend, and Raffi, they develop and say it's because she can't stand the fact that if Ahsoka did escape, that she would lord it over her. Seems like a little bit of a weak thing. Maybe she's supposed to be liking her. Maybe it's that kind of she's showing her heart to. Maybe I was not a big fan of Raffi. She has her moments. I'm not sure if it's the voice actor. I'm not sure what it is. It's just she rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. But then they go to the planet to get more spice in order to free up. Like, what does this do as a show? What do they think is going to happen? They didn't think this. I mean, the fact that they didn't get to get through, that's in character. But the fact that they can go down, bully their way into getting the spice loaded before the manager tries to shut them down, and then they physically assault their way out past all these guards. It's a little much for me. First of all, that these two who are very naive, Trace very naive, Rafi who believes she's street smart, but is definitely more naive than she wants to believe. And then you're having these like drug lords. It just seems like it's so easy for them to get it out, get this place out of there. But I mean, it's not important to the story, I guess, in a way. So I guess I can forgive it, but it is a little bit of a negative, I would say. So they get back. They can turn their spice in, and they're gonna free Ahsoka. Of course, that's not how it's gonna go down. They'll have to eventually fight and work together. Ahsoka reveals her Jedi hood. Sisters are surprised, but they get things through. They were able to work it out, and they were able to get away from the Pikes. But they do discover while this is all going on, we get first big discovery. This is the positive part of the story. We actually get to see this as a prequel to Siege of Mandalore. We get to see Maul. The Pikes are reporting to Maul as we all thought they were. Ahsoka gets to see that. There's a great moment where Maul is in a hologram form talking to Pikes, and he almost sees Ahsoka. You almost have that confrontation, a little bit of tease. I like it. Again, I like the tease. That means it's even less episodes that she's had to really solidify her journey away from the Jedi before she goes back. Because at the end of the day, she's going to go get Maul. And that's kind of what happens. I mean, you get another big reveal. These three, the Mandalorians, they are who we think they are. They're formerly Death Watch. It's going to be Bo-Katan. And her Katie Sackhoff's voice and made crystal clear who it was. And they decide they want to but bring Ahsoka on to help them defeat Maul, who is in Mandalore, as we discover. It's a good reveal. I like it. Even though it's not surprising, it doesn't have to be. But at the end of the day, the arc is a good arc, but not a great arc. The need for Ahsoka's character to make this journey is an important one. I feel it might have been better done over the course of a full season. If we got a full season with Ahsoka getting like 2 or 3 arcs where she more slowly comes to it, when it might have been more fulfilling to me. With that being said, they could totally knock out any negatives I have by having a kick-ass Siege of Mandalore arc. When we get everything, hope it's emotional, hope it's everything we want it to be. I just want to see Ahsoka and Maul go at each other. I want to see Ahsoka and Anakin's last contact at that point, which is probably the last time they had contact until Twilight of the Apprentice, which makes that even much more of an epic confrontation. But we'll have to see. Overall, though, I'd say pretty good. So, let's move on right away now into the next and final bit of today's episode. We're going to go continuing on the walkthrough. It's 1978's Splinter of the Mind's Eye, a book by Alan Dean Foster. And this is so big on so many different levels. This is the first novel in the expanded universe. Now, with the Legends continuity, we've had some comic books, some short strips, some full comic books, but this is something a little bit different. Alan Dean Foster, of course, had written the A New Hope novelization, and this is his chance to write the sequel. And that's what's really cool about this book as far as its legacy goes. This is the what if storyline. George Lucas had Alan Dean Foster write this in case Star Wars hadn't succeeded. It wasn't as big of a box office hit as it was, the monster box office hit it was. George Lucas still wanted to be able to do a sequel, but had to film it with a lot higher budget constraints, which is why you find this story takes place on a very foggy planet. So you don't have to have much in the way of detail. It's all really brilliantly done. Lucas trying to decide what he can do to cut costs and still have an adventure that is worth telling. One other thing I know Alan D. Foster said that Lucas specifically has to cut off is that Luke and Leia are heading to this planet to try to find a way to bring something into the Rebel Alliance, and Leia's ship has trouble when she has to land. There was a dogfight originally planned when Lucas had them take it out, had Alan D. Foster take it out, and I'm guessing it's because of budgetary constraints, possibly. But another big part about this is that there is no Han Solo. Harrison Ford was not contracted yet to do the sequel, so in case Harrison Ford didn't make it back as Han Solo, this was just Luke, Leia, and Darth Vader. There are also new characters. Hala, the ancient character of Hala, as well as the use them, which are kind of like bigger physical characters, kind of Chewbacca-esque in a way, I guess I would say. Um, but they go to this planet. Here's a big, interesting point. And I'll bring this point up now is that it's great to see Disney. One of the good things Disney does is connect with the old Star Wars legends. You can say what you want, whether you like sequel trilogy or not, you like some of the spin-offs or not. I like them all. I have a good time with them all. But what the good thing that Disney does do is go back to those original designs by Ralph McQuarrie, some of the excised material that are from George Lucas, and they make it canon and build upon it, make something better. I never heard of the Kyber crystal, for example, until Rogue One, really. But in truth, Kyber crystal is supposedly this magical gem on this planet, which can help augment your power of the Force, and it helps Luke. Luke, with the help from the Obi-Wan Kenobi spirit and through the Kyber crystal, is able to fight off Darth Vader and sever his hand. The big first conversation between Luke and Vader, and then Luke gets the upper hand. Now, I don't like that victory at the end, especially as it kind of cheapens Return of the Jedi a little bit for me. That's the time that Luke finally gets his, not vengeance, because that vengeance is not a Jedi's way, but he wants to match Vader for the first time, really hold his own. Leia, on the other hand, does fight Vader for a little bit to not much success. But what comes down mostly is what I said before, is about how you build for the future, a possible future, one never happily doesn't happen, one that doesn't happen. A specific thing, like I said, the Kyber crystal was set in episode 4 initially at one point, the second draft, it says, of the script. But now they power lightsabers. So, but they need to mine things out. Mimmin the Planet, the fog-filled planet, actually makes its debut in Solo, a Star Wars story. So that gets us an airing as well. It's a good book. It's a good little book. A lot of adventure, a lot of fun, a lot of pulpiness. Overall, I have to give it a thumbs up. Maybe 3.5 out of 5. It's definitely a quicker read. Not very significant now, because it got its most significance is in the what if category. Things have been changed left and right, up and down. That's just how it is. But that's the end of that. I hope you guys do go check it out. It's one of my favorite. It's a very big legacy book. It's like one of the things, if you own a few of the expanded universe, Splinter of the Mind's Eye is probably one you should get and should read. But that's it. That's it for today. This episode was very fun. I hope you guys liked it. Hit that thumbs up. Click that subscribe button for more. I got my V Project podcast coming out next week, some more going into the weekly series. I'm looking to do a few other things. I don't want to announce anything. I'm talking about doing the Harris dance at some point, which I'll get into if I ever do that. I'm thinking about doing an interview show, which may or may not happen even sooner. I also got this project I have in mind to do, maybe a live stream once every month, maybe, or so, on some specific topics, a specific show for the live audience. But I'll let you know more when I know. Otherwise, I always said, find me at Paul_Denuzio on Twitter. You can find me on Team Action Patreon. We have Action Industries. You can find me on Class Action, on Action Industries as well. And finally, on the Call to Action podcast for the movie Trivia Schmodown, you can find me on the weekly show at Chill to Action. If that's it, though, I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Stay safe, stay quarantined. Let's kick this virus's ass together so we can watch movies again in the theater, because I know I'm missing that. And as always, may the Force be with you always.